Big Fight Preview. Eubank Jr versus Benn on talkSPORT with DAZN. It's been years in the making. Don't miss the action this Saturday, live on DAZN.
Well, that's right. On Saturday night, an iconic moment in British boxing history takes place at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. Chris Eubank Jr takes on Conor Benn. And let's continue to look ahead to this fight now with DAZN. Spencer and Simon are with me, and I'm delighted to say we're joined by former two-weight world champion turned pundit. Carl Frampton is with us. Carl, good afternoon to you.
Well, sorry,
Oh, we're going to get a better line with Carl. We're going to get better communication with Carl. I have to say, Spencer, if there's one guy I love in the world of boxing punditry, and when he talks, I listen, is Carl Frampton.
Straight down the line. You know, he says it as he sees it. He doesn't sit on the fence with anything. Two-weight world champion, so he's been there, seen it, done it, and he's entitled to that opinion. Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, just in the passing, Paul Smith, how intriguing was he in the last half hour or so?
He's a fascinating guy. He's another guy that says it as he sees it, gets himself in trouble sometimes because of the honesty, and I think that's lacking sometimes with some of the pundits that are around. So yeah, Paul Smith Jr is very, very good. He's very technical. He's very in depth, and he's a great guy to speak to. I mean, look at the Smith family. I mean, historic. Will we ever get four brothers in the history of our sport in British boxing anyway that have achieved what all those brothers have achieved? And Simon was saying there about, Stephen, one of the younger brothers, Stephen, who was British Commonwealth champion, I believe. He boxed for the world title, but never won world honours. And he's a guy that no one really talks about, but his achievements were quite insane.
Yeah. You're a difficult guy to please. You're a fan of the Smith family.
I am very much.
And the boxing dynasty that they have they've created. Yeah. Just in the passing, are you getting more and more absorbed by this fight? Are you beginning to think?
No, Jim.
Come on, Spencer.
Let's drop that about this fight. Let's say, are you getting more and more drawn towards the undercard? Because I know that you're a big boxing fan. You're looking at that and you go, even Vidal Riley, Chev Clark, you look at that and go, that's a great fight there. You can look at it, Lyndon Arthur and all of those. Come on, mate.
I made my bed, I'll lie in it.
No, Simon, we'll get you there.
Yeah. Nobody cares if I'm there. Listen,
I care.
You guys will enjoy it.
Jim cares.
Enjoy the spectacle.
Well, yeah, I think
I'm hearing Turkey cares.
Listen, I think that when you get to listen to people, I really enjoy listening to people like Paul Smith. I enjoy listening to people like Carl Frampton. I've done an upfront with Carl Frampton. It's a fascinating insight into the mind of an elite performer. Paul Smith, I admire the whole family. Right. I admire Paul Smith's journey. I thought he was robbed against Arthur Abraham. Back in the day.
Well, there's your connection then. Liam Smith, who's you're a big fan of.
Talking about connections, we've got a better connection now with Carl Frampton, and we're looking ahead to Eubank Jr Benn with DAZN and Carl Frampton. Carl, good afternoon to you. We have you this time. How are you?
How you doing, boys? I'm okay. On the way to Dublin Zoo, so doing all right.
On the way to Dublin Zoo. Okay, we wish we were with you, but we're here and we're talking Conor Benn against Chris Eubank Jr. When it boils down to it, Carl, is this really a case of win-win for Conor Benn and lose-lose for Chris Eubank Jr.?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if Conor Benn loses, we can just say, well, I'm a 147 fighter. If Chris Eubank loses, he could say that the weight killed him, possibly, but no one's going to really listen to it too much, and it's probably the end of the career and then the end of the road for him. So Conor Benn, I don't think there's any pressure on him really getting into this fight, and all the pressure is on Eubank Jr.
Yeah, Carl, I totally agree with you with that, mate. And I think that for Chris Eubank Jr. at 35 years of age, if he loses, however he loses, it is career over for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for either man if they lose the fight, just because of the history and the rivalry and what's been going on to make this fight and what has happened when the previous fight was cancelled and stuff. So whoever loses is going to struggle with defeat. But I would say certainly it'll be tougher for Eubank Jr. But then again, when it's being reported they're maybe getting 8 million. When that arrives in your bank account, then it puts a glow of it, doesn't it?
It's all worth it. Let me put it another way to you, Carl. Is either fighter's reputation actually enhanced coming out of this fight on Saturday night?
Yeah, I would say that out of the two, if Benn wins, his reputation is certainly enhanced. It would be the biggest win of his career. He's had good wins before against Chris Algieri and Van Heerden, the South African, who don't really get knocked out, and he kind of blew them away. Now the question is, he failed a drug test not too long after them fights. Was that why he was looking so good? I'm not saying that's the case, but that's the question that a lot of people will be having for Conor Benn. And his last 2 fights since he's come back, he hasn't really looked anything spectacular. So you can maybe say the same for Chris Eubank. Apart from the Liam Smith win, his last fight, it was very underwhelming. So I'd say that, yeah, I think that his reputation could certainly be enhanced here if he pulls off a win.
I saw you listening intently there to Carl.
Yeah, well, Carl's obviously right, but the interesting thing is that it's not the end of the career for either one of them because they got a rematch.
Yes.
So
Well,
with that in mind, they're going to get to be able to go again. The interesting thing for me, Spencer, and I said it to you, and I don't know what you think, Carl, is in the unlikely event that Conor Benn gets cleaned out in the first round, then all of a sudden that becomes diminishing of Conor. He shouldn't have been there in the first place if he gets cleaned out in the first round. And all of those arguments can rage if that happens.
And we do not get the second fight,
Yeah.
So I think that we have to have a barnstormer for the second fight to value itself.
Yeah. I think so, Carl. I think so. Carl, an interesting one with the legacy of the fathers in mind. Does the fight on Saturday night add to the legacy of the fathers in the 90s, or does it ruin it?
I don't think it ruins it. I wouldn't say that. Does it add to it? I'm not too sure. I'd say that the fathers are better fighters than both the sons. And I mean, that the facts say that in terms of what they've done in their careers and who they fought and the many world title wins they had and stuff like that. Now, maybe Chris Eubank Jr. is probably too long in the tooth now to ever reach the height of his dad. But Conor Benn, certainly because he's still young enough in the game and he's still an improving fighter. He could maybe one day be the fighter his dad was, but at this point in time, I would say they aren't. And but I'm not sure it affects or enhances really the father's reputation.
Yeah, in the little time we've got left for you, Carl, what we're going to see?
I think we'll see a fast start from Benn. He's very, very explosive and he's aggressive as well. I think that Eubank can control that. I think he's big enough to do so. I think that the uppercut will be an important shot in this fight for Eubank because he throws it quite well, and Conor Benn coming forward with his head over his front foot will be there to be hit with that. But I think a fast start from Conor, Eubank trying to nail him with that uppercut as he walks in. And who wins the fight, I don't really know. I imagine Eubank at this stage. I want to see what he looks like on the scales tomorrow before I make a final prediction.
Carl, enjoy Dublin Zoo, my friend, and thank you for joining us this lunchtime. Carl Frampton, that was us continuing with the preview of Eubank Jr. against Conor Benn with DAZN. Don't miss a moment of the action on Saturday live on DAZN. Buy now at dazn.com/boxing.
Big fight preview. Eubank Jr. versus Benn on talkSPORT with DAZN. Buy your pay-per-view now at dazn.com/boxing.
And Spencer, you're off. The two of them get together tonight. There's a press conference tonight. I think it's 6. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. Press conference at 6 o'clock. Will we start seeing those emotions? Will we start seeing the fireworks that were expected in this fight week? My prediction is yes.
Okay, well, Drive will be live from the OB, from the press conference. Spencer and many others will be there, and you will not miss a thing. Just to reaffirm that football news going into our final break this hour, Jimmy Vardy is to leave Leicester City this summer after 13 seasons at the football club. He's 38, 500 appearances, and apparently his future may lie in the MLS. We're back after this.